Crypto developers think they're protected until they're not, and most people are getting this completely wrong. This isn't just a misunderstanding. This is where things start to change for developers in a real way, and the reason comes straight from the Clarity Act itself, specifically the section around developing, publishing, and maintaining blockchain systems, because right now, you're watching two sides argue online. Some people say developers are safe. Others say they're not, but both sides are missing the same thing. This is where the confusion actually starts. The law isn't asking if you wrote the code. It's asking what role you play once money starts moving, and that shift is where everything changes. Because this is the point where developers can start being treated like financial institutions. And most don't even realize it, and that's not random. That pressure comes from how the current financial system already works under the Clarity Act. Building infrastructure is treated very differently than running financial activity, and that difference is bigger than it sounds because the moment your system can influence money, who gets access, how it moves, or whether it moves at all, you're not just building anymore, you're part of the financial system. And that's where the protection starts to disappear, and once you cross that line, there's no clear way back. Think of it like this building. Crypto is like building a road, anyone can use it, and you're not responsible for every car, but the moment you control traffic, decide who gets through, or take a fee every time someone passes, you're not just the builder anymore, you're the system controlling movement, and that's exactly how banks operate today. Controlling access, flow, and permission, and that's the line regulators are trying to draw. This is where everything splits on one side. You have infrastructure, code, protocols, non-custodial tools, things that don't control user funds. That's what the law is trying to protect. But here's where it gets messy. Most real products don't stay neatly in that category because systems don't stay just infrastructure once they touch money. They start to drift, and the closer they get to controlling money, the more they start to resemble the very system crypto was trying to avoid. And that's exactly why some people don't trust where this is going. On the other side, you have financial intermediaries, systems that hold assets, execute transactions, or act as the middle layer. And that's where regulation starts to apply. And this is where the gray zone shows up. Take something like a DeFi app on the surface. It looks like infrastructure, just code, just a protocol. But then you ask, who controls the front end? Who upgrades the system? Who collects the fees? And suddenly, it's not so clear anymore. That's where the argument breaks down, because this is the exact tension regulators are dealing with. When does a system stop being neutral and start acting like a bank? And this is the part most people aren't talking about because both sides online are actually right. They're just looking at different sides of the same line. One side sees the code, the other sees the control, and everything comes down to where that line gets drawn. You see the same thing with wallets. A wallet that lets you hold your own keys looks like infrastructure, but if that same system starts handling transactions for you, or influencing how money moves, it starts crossing into something very different. That's the moment it stops being a tech question and becomes a control question, because once developers cross that line, they don't get treated like creators anymore. They get treated like financial intermediaries, and that means oversight, compliance, and control. This isn't just a legal debate, it's a design problem for the entire industry because developers now have to think about control, not just code. And at the center of all of this is the same question the financial system has always asked: who controls the movement of money? And that's the part that will decide who actually survives in this space, because this isn't just about developers, it's about who controls how money moves in the first place. And once that line gets defined, it doesn't just shape crypto, it reshapes the entire financial system. And once that shift happens, you don't get to go back. So the real question is, where should the line be between building the system and controlling it?